Excuse me, sir, this is not a library.
What's up, boys and girls? It's Balloonist Brian Potvin as the Balloonisher here at Collector's Paradise. Join us today as we get our book signed by Mark Guggenheim and Dave Wilkins. Catfish, are you excited for today's signing? Catfish? I'm here with Ed, owner of Collector's Paradise. Now, Ed, as a young boy, did you dream of owning a comic book shop?
I didn't discover comics until I was in my 20s.
Now,
1991, Death of Superman.
1991, Death of Superman. Now, how
First
did,
issue.
how did Collector's Paradise come about?
I was going to, this is like, imagine like a year and a half later after I read my first comic book. I was really into comics, walked into a store and a guy told me, hey, I don't want to do it anymore. And I said, I'll buy it.
You look like a sucker. Here, buy my shop.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened. Maybe not those words, but yeah, pretty much. And 2 days later, we owned Collector's Paradise.
Now,
it was called Little Angels Comics.
Little Angels Comics.
Yeah, the guy's name was Angelo,
Angelo.
so he called it Little Angels. Not the best name for a comic book store, but that was changed immediately.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, and that's how we started, 1984.
I tell people all the time, I go, when you buy a shop, the worst thing you could do is change the name.
Not in this case.
Not in this case.
Yeah.
Like, if you buy Coke, you're not going to change Coke. You're going to keep it as Coke. But no, you were right to change it to Collector's Paradise. I mean, the name alone entices.
It's not like I bought Golden Apple, right?
No.
Almost.
Almost. Now, Ed, comic book shops come and go. What did you do differently that made yours not only stick around, but expand?
I think it's like knowing your audience and changing with the audience. It's kind of like the waves. You have to ride the waves. And the comic book industry is not like one staple thing.
Yeah.
It changes every 6 months or even more often. And you have to know what's hot. You have to know what's going on, what's in a down, what do you need to sell off, what do you need to get into.
Yeah.
You need to start new product lines all the time. You need to get rid of stuff that you see is falling. You need to be very, very flexible. With money, with employees, with locations, with everything. You have to be flexible. You need to know when to make the moves, when to move to a bigger location, when to take somebody's business over.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is a third store we're opening up in August on our 25th anniversary, and all 3 stores were distressed locations.
Yeah.
Every one of them, including the one we're standing in, was a location where the owner said, "Hey Ed, I've known you for a long time. Do you want to take over? Because I don't want to do this anymore. It's not making me any money."
Yeah, Ed, you seem to know what you're doing. Why don't you take over?
Yeah, exactly. And so this is kind of the same situation again, where I walked in, looked around, said what they're not doing.
Yeah.
And is it, by adding what we're doing, is it going to make a big difference? And the answer is yes.
So you're like the what's the name of that guy from Apple that created everything? Steve Jobs. You're like the Steve Jobs of comic books.
I don't create anything. I just sell really well.
But somehow you're doing it, man. And your fans. Not only do you have fans of comic books, but people that follow you around. You treat everybody very nicely.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about this shop. So if you remember going to like record stores back in the old days, you see the guy with the tattoos and the piercings, and you go, "Oh, I'd like to buy an album. Ugh, this album sucks. Ugh, this and that." You go to other comic book shops, and that's how they treat you.
That are like that.
Yeah, and you come in here, and everybody's just so welcoming, so greeting, and I mean,
But think of it this way: we don't have the worst jobs in the world.
no.
None of my employees can say they have the worst job in the world or the worst boss in the world. Honestly, think about it. So like, why wouldn't they be happy? Why wouldn't they be happy about what we do? And that's kind of, anybody who gets hired here has to understand that. We're never negative.
Yeah.
I don't care if you hate a specific creator or a specific book, you never talk about it that way. You can choose not to say something instead of saying something bad.
Yeah.
And that's how you last in this industry. You don't make enemies. You don't create controversial situation. You just be inclusive. I know a lot of stores that are not very inclusive.
Yeah.
They cater to a specific crowd, whether it's like the Wednesday guy or the collector or the pop vinyl guy or whatever
Yeah.
it is. We try to have a store that caters to everything.
Fantastic.
Meaning we're inclusive. We have the biggest kids section. At the same time, we have huge collections of older books and CGC books and all that stuff. So if I see that it's something that we can make money on, obviously, but also something that has interest and people are interested in, we do it. We saw pins coming, we got into pins. We see the stuff coming and we get into it.
All right, so Ed, your third store is coming up. Now, what can we look forward to there?
So this one has been a kind of a long-time dream of mine. It's one of my favorite areas of Los Angeles, the NoHo Art District. It seems like a place where a comic shop has to be. I was kind of very sad when I found out that Blastoff was going out of business because I've discussed that location before. And Judd unfortunately got a job that took him out of town and he couldn't run the store anymore. So they came to us and they wanted to see if we would take over the location, and I screamed yes, because this is where I would, if I had a choice of any place to put a store, this is where I would put it.
I mean, you're almost the Atlas of the comic book industry. You're almost holding it up by yourself at this point.
Oh no, stop that. but like NoHo Arts District is everything.
Yeah.
You like beer, there's breweries. You like theaters, there are theaters around. There's a station that connects all of Los Angeles. The metro station at Lancashire is a block and a half away from us, and it's literally the connection of the whole Los Angeles. People come to that store from downtown. They just take the train to Lancashire and walk 2 blocks over. It's the perfect spot. It's also the perfect spot between the Valley, Hollywood itself.
Yeah.
A lot of the actors, a lot of the Hollywood people are moving into that area. It's a very up and coming area, and you don't understand how ecstatic I am to be there. The shop that was there before was fantastic, but it was kind of very narrow in definition. They really dealt mostly with old vintage comics, a little bit there, very little new comics, very little product lines as far as statues, toys, all that stuff, high-end posters, high-end, the stuff that we kind of specialize in, the unique collectibles.
Yeah.
They carried very little of that. It was more like a bookshop with a little bit of comics. I want to continue with that. We're going to bring a lot of older stuff in there and everything, but we're going to really improve the product selection, brighten up the place, make it a lot more exclusive, continue what they did with the kids area and everything, even make it bigger, but kind of make it into a brighter, more welcoming place, I would say. Not that place was not welcoming, it was a great store. It just had kind of a specific vibe. And it's kind of like, I want to be a little lighter, a little more open.
Unwelcomed.
Not
unwelcome, but like.
No, I don't think you ever felt unwelcome. This was a great store.
Okay.
That I think catered to a very narrow audience.
So now, when can we look forward to seeing this place open?
The official start date is August 1st, but we are planning something. August 1st is a Thursday.
Okay.
It just worked out that way. So the day before that is Wednesday, and I have plans that I'm not ready to announce. So probably about in a week. So we will be opening that Wednesday, which is the 31st of July.
Yeah.
But the official date is August 1st.
By the time this episode airs, it'll be way past that.
Oh, then you guys probably showed up or missed it. Either way,
Hey, good seeing you at the grand opening on August 20.
Yeah, so definitely follow us. Follow us on social media.
Yes.
That's the best way to do this. I mean, we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our own website for every store separate. That's so many accounts out there.
Yeah.
I don't know how Kevin takes care of all of
You
that.
have at Collector Paradise,
At
Pasadena.
Collectors Paradise, at Collectors Paradise _Pasadena, and the new one is going to be at Collectors Paradise _NoHo.
Underscore, and then the other one is at Collectors Paradise _Whitnecka, right?
No, just Collectors Paradise.
Just
yeah.
Collectors Paradise. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can find them online as well
Yeah.
on Instagram,
Facebook everywhere.
Facebook everywhere,
yeah.
Twitter. Excellent. Well, Ed, thank you so.
Comicsandcards.net. If you go there, you will see all our social media on the front page.
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So your pull system is far superior than everyone else's I've ever had to deal with.
Yeah, 'cause
so
we
you
designed
can-
it ourselves.
You designed it yourselves. It's online. You can pick and choose the comic books you want to add and drop, which I
Yeah.
find is amazing. Now, who was the brain master behind that?
Cannot take credit for that one. I had a friend who owned a store in San Jose, California, up north. He was a programmer who owned a comic book store. Was a pioneer in some of the stuff he did. One of the first people to design like an online subscription system.
Yeah.
And one day I talked to him and he said, "Do you want to install it for your stores?" And I said, "Sure." Well, one store at a time.
Yeah.
And then I had him customize some stuff for us. And then when he kind of quit and went to do his own thing, I have hired programmers since then to customize some stuff. Actually, on August 1st, we're going to be adding something huge, some new features that are going to be completely completely like crazy. People will, they've never seen it.
August 1st, guys. I'm looking forward to it. Grand opening, new stuff. But
Anniversary,
thank you.
25th anniversary. It's all happening August 1st. We're gonna announce huge plans at the end, close to the end of the month, that will involve everything.
Excellent. Well, Ed, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
What's up, guys? It's Balloonisher here. I'm here with Kenneth, longtime customer of Collector's Paradise. So you're telling me, Kenneth, how tough is it to keep up with comic books?
Very tough at all. It's a lot of time when you have a lot of favorite comics to read. It's just you don't have enough time to read them all, so sometimes you just got to pick one and then just start it from there and
Barrel
then
through.
and barrel through and then go to the next one.
I mean, I'm 4 years behind on comic books.
I'm probably longer.
I've got boxes just lined up, and they're all lined up ready for me to read.
Yeah.
And I struggled to find the time. So now, where are you at right now in the Marvel Universe?
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I just finished Daredevil versus Punisher.
How was that? Because
That was good.
Like you.
Yeah, that was very good. It was 4 issues, 4 or 5.
4 or 5,
It was,
yeah.
It was really good. It was really good. So I finished that, and now I'm starting The Amazing Spider-Man.
Now, the Amazing Spider-Man, when they just got back from the incursion, when the universe sort of imploded and then came back, so right
like
from
the
that,
newer, yeah.
yes, the newer Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So that was one of the odd things that I thought when they took a turn saying we're going to implode, we're just going to destroy the Marvel universe, but then oh wait, never mind, guys, we're just going to put it right back together again.
Exactly.
What were your thoughts on that?
Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Just why?
Again.
Just keep it simple.
I have this running gag where I say dating an ex is like reheating McDonald's. It just doesn't work.
Not at all.
And this
Not at all.
incursion thing, I mean, we sat through it for what, almost 2 years?
2 years.
2 years of this incursion event about the universes colliding and exploding and superheroes turning into superheroes and then just never mind.
There you go.
It's all back to normal.
Yeah.
So now, what
So it's a lot.
are you looking forward to next?
This right here, Blade versus Wolverine.
Blade versus Wolverine. So
Cannot wait. Excited. Big Blade fan. So glad that he's back in the comics. I'm sure done right. So
I can't
it's going to
wait.
be an interesting read. I'm excited.
did you hear rumors that Wesley Snipes wants to come back as Blade?
Oh yeah, and I hope so.
Now-
I hope so. Indeed, I'm a big Wesley Snipes fan. Love Blade. So I'm hoping that Marvel is listening, and if they decide to go a newer version, you got to put him in there somewhere.
I would love to see. So let's just say I don't know how old Wolverine is in this comic book, but I'd love to see Wesley Snipes versus Hugh Jackman. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be awesome.
I mean, they could just have a whole side movie alone on the ages, that they are. They're battling
Exactly.
vampires, are taking over the world. But Marvel just doesn't take the chance, does it, Marvel?
No, and who knows if Hugh Jackman ever will wear the uniform again and the hairstyle? But
Right.
from what he said, he's done.
I mean, what was it, like 20 years that he did that thing?
Yeah.
20
yeah.
years.
Oh, yeah, going on 20 years.
I mean, I met
Long time.
Glenn Danzig at the Shrine maybe 20 years ago, and that dude was like the real life Wolverine. The guy just doesn't age. Ran into him recently. He's starting to age. But the guy's in his 60s now, so
So,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
so
rightfully so. rightfully
Eventually,
so.
it was going to happen.
It was gonna happen. It was bound to happen.
Exactly.
Very lucky. He lasted until 57. But anyway, Kenneth, thank you so much for talking to me. Have a great day. Enjoy the signing.
You too. I will.
What's up, guys? We are here with Mark Guggenheim and Dave Wilkins with the premiere of Wolverine versus Blade. Now tell us, how long did this take to get printed?
Oh my God.
Wow.
10 years. 10
10
years.
Now, what started this? How did you get the ball rolling?
I believe it or not, I had done a run on Wolverine and I had done a run on Blade, and I was down in San Diego for Comic-Con with Andy Schmidt, who at the time was an editor at Marvel, and he basically asked, like, hey, would I do a Wolverine and Blade one-shot? I'm like, that's an awesome idea. And the question was, who do I do it with? And Dave and I had just done a run. We did a story for Marvel Comics Presents about this group called Vanguard. Blade was a member, and it was like, I think actually by that point Andy had stepped off.
I think
I had.
John Barber.
And it was John Barber, and John Barber was our editor on the Vanguard story, so it all made sense.
Yeah, totally.
So, Dave, did you just go, let me in on that? How did that come about?
Basically, that's exactly what happened. They were like, Blade and Wolverine in the same book, and I was like, oh yeah, all day. And this guy writing?
You know, I tell people all the time, I go, there's so many stories. Everybody wants the true to life comic book art on screen, but what's to say we can't have an alternate universe? We can have a Blade and Wolverine TV show or movie, anything like that.
Awesome.
I mean, so anything coming down the pike there, Mark?
Nothing I can talk about.
No way you can.
Nothing. I wish.
Come on, man.
Hey, I'd love to see it.
Get a young Zac Efron playing Wolverine.
He loves Zac Efron. He's always talking about Zac Efron. Hey,
Once you
he's
stop
Batman,
hating him,
yeah.
he's
I'm
not
not sure Zac Efron is really Wolverine, but
I don't know if Robert Pattinson's Batman, but we're gonna get him, all right?
Didn't want that one.
Hey, I was upset at Michael Keaton when I first found out about Michael
Yes.
Keaton,
Me too.
and now I don't talk.
Oh,
About
yeah,
it.
me
I
either.
just don't comment
Yeah.
anymore. You know?
I mean, well, Kevin Smith said, they're missing out on not having Michael Keaton play in Batman Beyond.
well, they
yeah.
absolutely are.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're
100%.
absolutely missing out on that.
Yeah.
Now, so half of our show is beer and pop culture. So, what's your favorite beer, Mark?
That's good. You know what? It's not the most high quality beer ever, but I really like Sam Adams. I lived in Boston for 8 years. The law firm I worked at, we represented Sam Adams, and that has a very special place in my heart.
So regular Sam Adams, not
Regular
the
Sam
Winters,
Adams.
not
I'm a purist.
just the Boston Lager.
Yes.
Dave,
I'm a stout guy.
stout guy.
So I drink Guinness or oatmeal stouts of any kind, coffee stouts. Like, yeah. That's
So,
what I
so you can say you are what you drink.
basically. It helps. It enhances.
So, gentlemen, my friend Catfish over here, he's a big fan of.
The Rocketeer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I have some original Dave Stevens
Oh,
comics.
nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And I have a few shirts and a few mugs, and I've seen the bulldog that's there
Oh,
at Idle
yeah,
Hour.
yeah, yeah.
It
Yep.
used to be, and actually I was really surprised because I have a few of these you're at war.
Yeah, I've done a few Rocketeer stories for IDW over the years. Scott
great.
Dundier, every now and again,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
comes and he asks me, and the Rocketeer War was his idea actually. He's like, there's never been a Rocketeer comic done set during World War II. We should
That's
do that.
crazy.
I'm like,
Oh,
that's an awesome
yeah.
idea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it was a blast. I had so much. Always have fun writing.
Yeah, no, I
characters.
was. I have a few of them. My comic shop is in Pasadena, and so when I saw that, I was like, "Oh man, I'm a fan."
Yeah.
You know, and
Wait, your comic shop's not here?
no, it's
Get out!
It's not this
Get out!
comic.
Get out!
down the street. It's close by. Hey man, I've lived in Pasadena my whole life, but I've been a big Rocketeer fan, and so I've seen the movie. I saw the first time I saw the movie was at the Pacific Hastings Theater.
Oh, wow.
When it first
Nice.
came out.
Yeah.
With my pops.
I love that movie.
I
That
do
movie
too.
is like one of the all-time great comic book movies.
Yeah, we've talked about it on the show, and it's a great Disney
Yeah.
action film that started out, right?
From a visual standpoint, I really like the war propaganda film where the 2D was like very retro.
Right,
like,
Yeah.
right. The
beautiful-
Nazi with the,
beautifully
yeah,
done. Yeah.
Yeah,
They did a great job with
Yeah.
that. The whole movie is just
Oh, yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
yeah. The nice Howard Hughes tie-in as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. John Locke playing Howard Hughes.
Yeah, that was kinda
Casting
cool.
that movie was pitch perfect.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
They did a good job, and they had a lot of nice scenes with, with the Griffith Observatory and seeing the big Hindenburg flying over.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh my God,
Yeah.
that's why we have Hollywood, not
Yeah.
Hollywood Diane.
Yeah.
But yeah, great job. I think that it's great. I mean, I really like the work and whatnot. So.
I love we're here with Mark and Dave and Catfish talking about himself. Doesn't cease to amaze me. Now, this guy. Now, going back to it, why I'm here.
Yes.
Both of you have had your hand in Punisher. Whoa.
Now he's talking about himself. Now he's talking about himself.
Edit that part out. So tell me, that was the first Punisher run you ever did.
That was the first Marvel comic I ever wrote.
First
actually.
Marvel comic you ever wrote.
Very first Marvel comic. It was not the first Marvel comic that ever got published. I've worked on some Marvel things that have taken a few years to come out. But
Seems to be a running joke.
yeah, that was
guy.
the very first thing I wrote for Marvel was this Punisher story where Punisher's put on trial. I was kind of like, no one's ever done the story where Punisher actually like goes on trial and is in court. And I used to be a lawyer, and I thought, I'm going to write that.
No, this would be right up my alley.
Yeah.
So now, I was looking at some of the artwork that you've done, and tell me what inspires you. Like, what made you? Were you just staring in a mirror? Saying, this is what Punisher should look like.
No, like when I really first got into like comics, like as a collector, like the art at the time that was like really popping off the shelf for me was like Frank Miller.
Yeah.
You know, his Dark Knight, Bisley's Batman Dread. You know, like stuff that I'd never. Yeah, we see like pen and ink sequentials because that's the medium, right?
Yeah.
But when you see something that's like fully painted like that, you're just like, whoa, you know. And that's basically it. Like Dark Knight made me want to do comics, and Batman Dread was like how I wanted to do them.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the cover you did was just fantastic. I wish I put all my stuff under lock and key as soon as you signed it. I had a guard pick it up in the just take
I
it.
was wondering what that armor.
Yeah, the armored truck pulled up, took it. I said, get it to the storage unit, which nobody knows where my storage unit is. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Mark, Dave,
Thank you so much.
we'll see you next time.
Yeah, man.
Catfish.
It was a blast, wasn't it?
It was amazing, man.
was awesome.
What a great comic book shop, man.
Man, Ed, Dave, Mark, everybody was awesome. The staff is just amazing there. I liked when, so you weren't there for this, but Ed said, one of the things I tell my staff to do is they have homework. They have to read books, even if they don't like it. Even if they don't like it. Because I told them, I said, one of the things I like about your comic book shop is it's not like Tower Records back in the freaking 90s. Remember that? Remember what that was like?
Yeah.
You know, well, give me an album you would purchase at Tower Records in the 90s.
Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam, okay. So you walk up to the counter,
Yep.
and the guy with all the tattoos and the piercings in the nose, and you say, here's my Pearl Jam. What would he say to you?
He wouldn't say a damn thing because he knew I had my heart set on that album, and that was it. He was always like, oh man, yeah, Eddie Vedder. All right. Yeah.
Well, like I would go and I would buy like an Insane Clown Posse CD.
Yeah.
And the guy would be like, you're into that? You know, unless you know, like, pulling like a Rodney on the Rock, like, you know, knowing some indie band, blah, blah, you ain't shit.
Put in 2 cents and shit like
Yeah,
that.
put in his 2 cents. And I couldn't stand it. And comic book shops have a habit of doing that. Comic book, oh, you only read Marvel? Oh, I only read IDW, or I only read Dynamite, or I only read... And it's like, dude.
When I got that recent comic book we'll talk about later, one of the guys was like, "Oh, you're the Ghostbuster fan." Yeah, man. It's like, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
But Ed was like, I tell my staff, I don't care if you hate it, you have to read it.
Right.
So that your customers, if they have a question, they can tell you. You know, you can tell them, like, this is a good read, this is a good read.
It's like a fine restaurant.
Yeah.
You want to
And-
be able to say, is this food any good?
Yeah.
How, like ESPN Zone.
Yes.
When you would always complain about how bad the food would be, and you would talk to the chef
Yes.
because they did such a horrible job.
It wasn't the food was bad. What was bad was, God damn it, Catfish, you're getting me started. They're not there anymore. But
The building's still there.
one of the things that happens to me,
Memory remains.
This is why I'm at Collector's Paradise. So this ties into the ESPN Zone. So I'm at Collector's Paradise because my first comic book dealer, I was with for like 10, 15 years. First guy. And then Spider-Verse came out.
Right.
And I went and I had all the books except for the first appearance of Gwen Stacy as you know, Spider-Gwen. And I said, where's Spider-Gwen? And the guy looked at me like, oh, you don't need it. You know, you can read all the other stuff. You know, I'm like, but I wanted it. I'm a Spider-Man fan. Well, oh, we didn't know you'd want that one. No, what it was it was the first appearance of Gwen Stacy, and they went and they put it on freaking eBay. The owner or whoever did it. And so I said, you know what? You don't need me as a customer. So I go to this other comic book shop. And this other comic book shop says, we're going to take care of you, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We've got history, blah, blah, blah. Customer first. And then, you know, because I was so busy, and, you know, it wasn't like it was a great distance, but I couldn't get there. So all of a sudden, I'm noticing I'm missing 4 issues. So I would have, like, issues 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9.
Wow.
And so I went, And then what really bugged me, I don't know if you can tell, Catfish, I'm the Balloonisher.
That's right.
I am a huge fan of the Punisher,
These glasses aren't because I'm blind, but I see it.
but not just the Punisher. I'm a fan of Frank Castle. Frank Castle, the man with a code, the man with a burden, the man. And so Frank Castle appears as Cosmic Ghost Rider in the Thanos comic books. And I said, hey, where were you on that one, pal? Oh, well, you're not a fan of Thanos. And I go, so, lo and behold, I am now at Collector's Paradise. I have not had one issue, not one. In fact, I just recently found out from my previous comic book shop, I'm missing the first appearance of Norman Osborn as the Red Goblin. Out of all the issues I have, that's the one I'm missing. What the?
So how did you find out about this book?
So, I've been driving by, and I'm, just like a barber.
Yeah.
Just, you're faithful to your barber, you're faithful to your pomade suavecito. You're faithful. That's what men do. We're faithful to
That's
them.
right.
And
Just like Ohana, we're faithful to
we're faithful to Ohana. And, we can sample some other stuff, but we always come back. But I wanted to eat Collector's Paradise, and one of the staff members was like, listen to me, I know you've heard this before, but we're going to take care of you.
Wow.
And like I said, I've spoken to Ed a few times, and just looking at Ed talk to his customers, I can tell he's got that relationship with his customers.
Right.
And I'm glad to be one of those customers now.
That's amazing.
I know I give you shit for not being a customer of theirs, but at the same time, you're faithful to your comic book shop.
That's right.
And then, as you should be. As you should be.
I've been going there since my buddy Sean Jackson used to work there all the time, and I wander in there and just sorry about the shirt.
Yeah. And so it was such a great event. I mean, Ed grabs artists. He had the Donny Cates signing.
Wow.
Yeah, and Donny Cates was signing at LA Comic Con. Donny Cates only signed for 2 hours, and he was charging $50 a pop. And Ed brought in Donny Cates, and Donny Cates signed whatever he brought in. Because I'm here for Ed. And then now Ed's opening a third store in North Hollywood. I can't wait. Dude.
So let's talk about that crossover.
Oh my God. So, a one shot. Wolverine and Blade. So, it reminded me of Heart of Darkness with Punisher, Ghost Rider. Oh God, who else was in that shit? Was it Doctor Strange?
Sounds like it.
I'm trying to remember. It was Punisher, Ghost Rider.
It would make sense if it was Dr.
No, it was Wolverine. Sorry. It would make sense if it was Doctor Strange. No, it was Wolverine. I have the original issues, but I haven't read them in a while.
Okay.
I even have the box set the San Diego Comic Con put out. But then they, of course, when they don't sell that well, Marvel then puts them out as Marvel Legends box sets, which pisses me off because if you pay $200 for that set, you're now paying $49 for it at a Toys R Us. Back when Toys R Us was alive. Pour some out for my homies. In my mouth. But
So tell me more.
so I didn't get to read it, but it's Wolverine. It was supposed to be Wolverine versus Blade, but it's Wolverine and Blade versus other vampires.
So it's a team up.
It's a team up, and so what Dave was saying, Dave drew most of the art,
Right.
Or all the art, actually. I'm sorry. Mark wrote the story. Dave drew the art.
And Mark did Punisher.
Mark did Punisher. Mark did Rocketeer,
Right.
Which we'll get into another time.
Another time.
But Dave was showing us in line what it actually looked like and how bloodier and how much gory it was.
Right.
And he's a big fan of Rick Baker. He's a big fan of movie special effects.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a big fan of that. I would have loved to have gotten into that with him. I felt like we were intruding on the signing. I felt like we were, and that's why I was like, a quick interview, guys, if you don't mind.
I think it was good.
I think so too.
I think it was great. They were really excited. They told us a little bit about what
Yeah.
they did and where they went. I thought it was
How
really
long
cool.
it took him to make it? I mean, 10 years? Can you believe that?
I can.
Yeah,
Because there's a lot of politics. I mean,
No, I don't think it was the politics. I think it's because Mark's the producer of DC Legends Tomorrow, Arrow, and a bunch of other stuff. I mean, the guy's done The Practice, he's done Law and Order, so he's mainly a television producer.
but the best things take the longest time in order.
Exactly. So he said it was 10 years in the making,
But that's awesome.
and that's why I was like, how did you get involved in this, and how did you guys team up, and
And Blade was a dark horse
Yes.
character first before they did the Marvel. So this is a Marvel release, correct?
No, Blade was founded, I believe, the 70s, late 70s, like 79, as a Marvel character.
I thought it was Dark Horse.
No, I think you're thinking Marvel Knights. Marvel Knights is more gory. It pretty much says, like, if it's a Marvel Knights issue, it's going to be bad. It's not for kids. And even one of the customers, they had a lot of the stuff out, and one of the customers goes, "Is this more kid friendly? You know, I'll buy this for my kid so you can sign it for him."
Well, it was kind of funny that we were talking about the Blade films that have come out, and we were kind of talking about like I remember Ron Perlman, who was Hellboy.
Yes.
He was in the second film.
Yes.
And then we have what's his name, who's Deadpool.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is in the third one.
Yep.
I mean, it's a good jumping off point for artists. I mean, sorry, for actors in that film franchise. Wesley Snipes, I don't know, who knows?
Well, did you see What We Do in the Shadows?
No.
You're missing out. There's so What We Do in the Shadows based off a movie that stars the guys from Flight of the Conchords.
Okay.
And it's basically
And they're
like
vampires.
they're vampires
I
in
saw the
modern
trailer.
day.
Yeah, I
in
saw
modern
the
day.
trailer. Yeah.
Well, there's a scene where these vampires sort of did something bad to like the head vampire, not Dracula, but like the main vampire. And so the vampire council has to judge them, and it's every vampire from every film you've ever seen. And they go, and joining us, so they're going, oh, you're this vampire from this movie. They never say the names, but you recognize them immediately.
Bram Stoker.
Like Paul Rubens from Buffy is there. Hello. So he's one of the vampires, and then and they go, and joining us from Skype, the Daywalker, and it's actually Wesley Snipes as Blade.
Oh shit.
He's like, yes, guilty. It's like, so that if you like Blade, get into.
Well, I thought it was kind of cool. I also was mentioning that one of the Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man animated cartoon, there was an episode where Blade was in it.
Yeah.
And
see,
they had the Howling Commandos that were in it too
yeah,
as well.
That's what I was trying to bring up to them. That, I mean, literally, if you were to say, any Marvel, listen to me, if you were to put out a movie tomorrow, Blade versus Wolverine, or Wolverine versus whoever, and just say, in the very beginning, thank you, Andrew, in the year this and that, blah, blah, the apocalypse happened, blah, 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 Blade and Wolverine are fighting off vampires because vampires took over the world, we would totally buy in. And that's what they don't do. They have all that, but no, they want to do the whole end game. They want to go, look, see how we tied it all in? Look.
But they're feeding the fans.
I know,
It's
they're
the
feeding the
service.
fans, but I want more movies. I want a movie a week. There's literally thousands and thousands of comic books. They could pop out anything.
Absolutely.
And they
But
don't.
but it's a market though. It's the market. It's the money. It's who has money to do this. How many production companies can put their money together in order to produce a film?
It's a goddamn burlesque show. They're like this.
That's it. But
You want to see more? You want to see more? Huh? Here's Blade. Here's Wolverine. So, yeah. But
so that's a one-off.
it's a one-off. Apparently it took 10 years to get together because these guys couldn't meet up, and then it's a one shoot and that's it. And I mean, like I said, Ed, the man himself, put them together, made sure that we could, and not only that. So not only did Ed sell out on all the issues he had,
Right.
but Dave walks in, says to Mark, "Guess what?" Mark says, "What?" He goes, "We're already in second printing." And he went, "What?" "Yep, we're in second printing." So we were there for the first prints to be signed.
Wow.
We were there. So that was, Ed, thank you so much, bro.
Good stuff, man. Hey, the more one-off stuff. I was gonna say the Django and the Zorro. That's kind of cool.
You know what would be really cool, though? If they did Django and Zorro the Gay Blade. Did you ever see that?
I didn't, but
Here I am! Oh my god, that would be fucking hilarious. Because Django's so serious.
of course it's serious.
The G is silent. Here I am! You have to juice your bowels. Your bowels, right?
They said is that they're gonna make a film with that.
Really?
Yeah. So
Get the
yeah. So they're gonna. So what they want to do with the whole Django thing is they're not gonna use what's his name?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
So
is
is this
not
going to
in it.
be
gonna be
future?
It's going to be a future. It's going to be a future story.
Okay.
So basically, what they're saying is that Django works for Zorro, an older Zorro, as his bodyguard.
I'm kind of worried about that.
Well, I mean, again, it's a comic book we need to pick up and we'll both talk about.
Yeah, I
talk
think
about
you're absolutely
in
right.
future
Yeah.
episode, and then we'll talk about. We'll revisit the whole Wolverine and Blade.
Yeah.
I'd love to check it out myself. That sounds kind of cool. I mean, why not?
Okay.
We could always revisit because
But let's talk about that. Okay, so Django works for. It's going based off what we know about history after the slavery abolishment,
Mexican Revolution,
Mexican Revolution,
meetup, right? Exactly.
meetup, politically correctness, but
Right.
there was no if we're going to be politically correct, there was no politically correctness back then. I mean, take like Chicken George from Roots. He was like, I'm free, and they're like, you ain't free.
Right.
And so Django was technically a free slave. Freeman, yeah, he was a freeman. So where could they, and then, so now you said they were going to do a Quentin Tarantino movie with this?
Quentin Tarantino's going to be.
Quentin Tarantino don't fuck around. Yeah, so this could be very interesting. Did you see the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood trailer?
Yeah, I did. I saw two of them.
You saw two of them. I saw one.
I saw two of them. I saw the first one where, Leonardo DiCaprio and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really cool. I mean, they have a guy who's going to be
Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And he looks exactly like Bruce Lee.
That was great too. These fists are lethal weapons. If we're in a fight and I kill you, I will go to jail. If you accidentally kill anybody in a fight, you'll go to jail. It's called manslaughter.
But it was the second trailer that really got me because they introduced Charlie Manson.
So now, what I had heard, the rumor was that this was supposed to be about the Hollywoodland murders. Was it Hollywoodland murders, or is that the Dirk Diggler story, the John Holmes story?
That's the John Holmes story.
That's the John Holmes. I'm sorry, the Manson family murders.
Helter Skelter.
But I mean, the one trailer I saw did not allude to any of that.
No.
It made it look like this is a cheesy flick that you're not going to see. I like when Family Guy makes fun of Quentin Tarantino, and they go, "It's a Quentin Tarantino film? What year? Whatever year Quentin Tarantino watched films."
I know, man. All I can say is about Quentin Tarantino.
This is true. This is true.
That's it.
According to Samuel L. Jackson, Quentin Tarantino has the card to say the N-word.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know that I would pull that card, but
It must be a dark card.
but apparently Samuel L. Jackson gave it to him. That's like when you donate to the CHP or the LAPD, you apparently have a get out of jail free card.
Goodness gracious.
I don't know that I would use it, but apparently I did.
Like a Monopoly card?
Apparently,
Get out of jail for free,
you
right?
spend a lot of money to get that card.
Goodness gracious, man. So I'll definitely check out that Wolverine.
Wolverine Blade, man. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah,
The whole Blade origin story that his mother was, his mother was infected.
Right. And he was
She
born
gave birth
while he was pregnant.
I mean that's a whole thing. We already know the Wolverine origin on how that got started. That was one of the best.
So are they both immortal then?
Wolverine has been killed multiple times, which is why Wolverine's not really working out as a title on itself. And Blade had his resurgence after the movies, but they didn't overly use him.
Right.
In fact, right now, as we speak, this day and time, July 10th, 2019, he is currently an Avenger. I mean, he was an Avenger before, but
Blade is?
he's actually in the comic books right now being an Avenger. And because the Avengers are off doing their own thing, and there's like a whole huge battle called War of the Realms, where Malekith from Thor 2, remember Thor 2?
yeah,
The guy.
got it.
So he's like going around fucking shit up right now, and Blade's an Avenger, and everybody's like, these are the Avengers, and Blade's just right there like, yeah,
He's like, yeah, fool.
fuck you up.
That's right, man. But anyway, yeah, it was cool shop. Definitely go back again
The
and
collectibles
check
are
out their.
and reasonably priced too. Reasonably
Looked
priced.
like it.
I mean, if you could. I mean, I'm pissed because I saw this Punisher statue that they had, and it was on sale for like $40.
How much was that Punisher that was under glass? $50, right?
I think so.
Wow.
$50.
$50.
But that's not even that's nothing. And
You?
and so,
me.
so I was gonna buy the one. I'm like, and I almost said like, hey, but I don't want to be that guy. It's like, hey, save that for me. I'll pay for it next time. I don't want to be that guy.
You can be another time.
Yeah. And so I didn't say anything. And when I went back the following week, it was gone. I was like, Where the fuck is my Punisher statue?
But you didn't save it
I
for me.
didn't say anything and I messed up. Open your mouth, people. Open your mouth. Okay, wait. Cut that. Don't put that there. Don't open your mouth. Don't. If you're gonna open your mouth, make sure it's. You know what? Enough with the opening of the mouth.
Yeah, none of that stuff. Once again, man, thank you so much, Collector's Paradise, for having us there. And
Awesome.
It was great to meet those artists, man. They're amazing guys. And
I will say though, it is good to be home at Ohana.
it's always good to be home. We'll see you again soon. This is Moderately Famous. I'm Catfish.
I'm Balloonisher.